Hi everyone. So this is kind of a continuation of the last video I did on barred owls. I got some different barred owl calls, and as I said in the last video, they make a, a number of different calls, and they do different variations. Um, and the barred owls on the East Coast will do different variations to the barred owls on the West Coast. The examples I'm giving you are really what I get around the nest area. Um, I get different combinations of these calls in other areas in Washington, but they're all roughly like these. But several calls that I didn't discuss in the last one are the screams. This is a barred owl scream here. The This second scream here, it's a little distant, so I had to amp and filter it a little bit. But this one right here really will send people for a loop because they don't always call after they do this scream, and it looks similar to slide whistle whoops. And if it's distant and they don't make another call after it, it gets mistaken as a whoop a lot. Um, but there are differences between the barred owl scream and the whoop. It's definitely a barred owl. I've recorded just the scream. I just don't I don't have clips of it. I've seen it, and I've had people send it to me too. And a lot of times they'll just do this scream and they won't do any calls after it. And it's one of those that really gets mistaken for our target subjects a lot. And this is just some more barred owl that was closer to the recorder with different notes and tones and sounds to it. There's actually some goofy juvenile owl um, vocals right here, which a lot of times also get mistaken for our target subjects. I'm going to play this, and then I'm actually going to hopefully switch over to another screen. My screen recorder doesn't always cooperate, where I've taken this this scream over here, and I put it next to an actual suspicious whoop, slide whistle whoop, so you can actually visually look at the differences besides just the sound. So let's take a listen to this. And this first clip, unfortunately, one of the mics was going out. So this top mic, you'll see a lot of stuff in here, and you're going to hear some static because that particular mic is going out, and I'm actually going up next weekend to replace that mic. Hold on. Okay, I did not want to start it there, but that's kind of a cool little vocalization. You've got a juvenile in there. We'll start it out from the beginning with the screams. So this last one, I didn't amplify it. I actually toned it down because the owl was like right over the mics, and it was blowing out my mics. So it's a perfect example of your 800-pound owl. Like I said, this one was distant. I did filter it a little bit, but you can see how with the distance, the vocals don't sound like your normal vocals and can be they're distorted. These are distorted. They're not what they normally sound like, and if you're not familiar with it, it can become something else to you. But especially this particular scream right here is a big one that people really get confirmation bias over. Okay, I'm going to switch screens. Now this is a clip, and I've talked about it before, in March while servicing audio in Nest Area 3, where actually these owl vocalization, this particular owl vocalization came from the same area. We had a number of whoops and brush movement around us. The animals were close to us, but they were being fairly quiet. And we didn't notice them. I mean, we noticed the brush movement, and that's what prompted me to review my audio right away that night, because I always have an audio recorder on my head. And when I reviewed the audio, there were several short whoops, and the vast majority of short whoops or whoops we get are short whoops. If you go back and look at Chimp Fit, those are short whoops. But the slide whistle whoop, which is the popular one, I actually caught one of those, and it's low. I did amplify it a little bit. The animal was close to us, and I've cut out my movement. There's my movement through the brush on either side of this. So we didn't hear it because we were moving. But I wanted to just show you the comparison. So this is the fundamental, and you can see it's starting down low in the 300s, and it's only peaking just below 500 hertz. Your hertz are over here. And I know I say hertz don't matter, but in this case it does. This is the barred owl. It's starting out up in the 700s, and it's peaking up to 1,000. This is the barred owl scream, and you notice how long the barred owl scream is and how flat this is as it gets to its peak. So it's shaped different. It has a similar look, and if you're not familiar with it and you haven't seen a lot of it, I can totally get how someone would think it might be a Bigfoot if it's distant, especially if they don't do this other vocal, and that happens a lot. And so I'm not blaming anybody. That's why I'm showing it to you, and I'm hopefully helping some people out here. But I'll go ahead and play this, and you'll hear a definite difference in tone and pitch and what it actually sounds like. Now, I mean, I can hear, hopefully you can too, some big differences between these two calls. You see how the beginning of the barred owl, it starts out and it just keeps rising. Our suspect kind of starts high, goes low, and comes back up, and then comes back down. Whoop! Where the barred owl is just a straight wah. I sound like a retard now. Anyways, but this is the type of stuff you look for. This is something that I wanted to point out to people. I can't say this is a Bigfoot. In my opinion, it is. but I can't say it is. But I was there. This animal was probably within 100 feet of me, and it was no owl. So I'll go ahead and play this one more time and be done with this. Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and I will try to bring more information as I learn it myself and as I find it that I think is important. And have a great Christmas, everyone. Over and out.